Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Marty 4 here once again.
Hey, what's up YouTube? This is your boy Jamar 4 here once again, and I am finally back from my vacation. During the time that I was out from pretty much the 27th through yesterday, which is the 8th, and I didn't get a chance to record any real videos of my own. However, I did get to record a video with Wade over at Wade TV Show about the Sweet Addictions TV and her haunted house meetup. So make sure you guys go and check that video out. If I'm too lazy to put it in the description, you just search for Wade TV Show. It is on his channel, where me and him and Diggy, we talked about that whole thing with this haunted house situation, which was good. So make sure you go check that out. But for here, on today's day, we're here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 8. Now, there's been so much chitter-chat about this season. First off, the fact that we know that Nene's not on it. Well, yeah, she's not on this particular season. I think they just put out a story that she's going to come back in some kind of big way. I don't know if it's at the finale or for next season or what have you, but Nene, she ain't about to leave this check alone just yet. She tried. She keeps trying to leave the Housewives franchise to do something else, but it just never seems to stick, and she always ends up having to come back to Bravo. So that's that. And then, of course, we also know that another big thing about this season was that Sheree Whitfield was coming back, and everybody just did a collective eye roll, like, oh my god, here this bitch come again. Now, mind you, I wasn't watching Housewives like I do now when Sheree was on, but everybody would say so much about her, it's almost like I knew the bitch. So oh, hold on, somebody shot me a text. But yeah, and then we know that Todd and Candy are pregnant. We know that Kim Fields is on this season. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm really not familiar with Kim Fields. I hope that's her name. Good Lord, forgive me if it's not. But I believe she said that she was on Living Single or in Living Color, one of the two. And neither of those shows I really watched enough to recognize anybody from those seasons or from those shows years later. So I'm going to be reintroduced to her this particular season of Housewives to kind of see what she's all about. But this premiere episode, it was kind of meh. It was almost like an episode that would come on in the middle of the season almost. Kind of like, the premiere was almost a filler. But either way, we get to the first scene is with Candy and Todd. They're going to the doctor, pretty much announcing that they're pregnant or finding out that they're officially pregnant. They hear the heartbeat. And, Candy said this is Todd's first time ever being a chance to be a real father because he didn't find out that he had a daughter until she was, a teenager or at least 10 years old. So she didn't really have the whole raising process. And they both have daughters. So they're kind of like, they're hoping for a boy. And she was like, to be honest, if it is a girl, we're going to probably end up trying again so we can have a boy. So that's exciting. I'm sure in anybody's life and they're having a child, it may not be as exciting for Candy as it is Todd, because Candy did get a chance to raise her child, but I guess it's kind of like the first time she's getting to raise the child with her husband. So it's cool. I'm happy for them. So we move forward to Portia and Phaedra, who will become bosom buddies all of a sudden. And Portia talks about how she's dating this new guy who is 24 years old. Now, mind y'all, I'm a fresh 25 years old, and I just turned 25 on Wednesday, November 4th. So, I'm gonna give y'all like 5 seconds to put in the comments, happy birthday. I'll wait. Go ahead. Okay, all done? Thank you, boo. But she's dating a sweet young tenderoni of a 24-year-old. And I'm thinking, like, if somebody like Portia tried to come at me, of course, obvious reasons why that wouldn't work. But I'm just like that. You view these people in a different generation, and it's almost a little when younger guys date older women. See, I'm trying to in my mind. I'm trying to think like, okay, is that which was creepier, an older man dating a younger girl, or a older cougar trying to date a young dude? I think the older guy dating the young girl is still going to be creepier, but something is still uneasy about the woman dating an old. It just seems odd. It's not creepy, but it's just odd, almost. But anyway, Phaedra says how she's talking to Apollo, how she's getting used to being a single mom and all this other whatnot nonsense. I'm like, oh, okay, girl. So then Portia brings up, or it was Portia or Phaedra? I think it was Portia. Was the one who was talked about how, did you see this whole video with Peter and Cynthia? And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. I remember when this shit came out sometime last year, late last year, something like that. Was it last year or early this year? One of the two. Child, I don't know. But there was this video of Peter being all up on some chick at some bar. I guess at the bar they just opened or whatever. You know, he was kind of sliding his hand down on her bosom and all on her neck and whatnot. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, we know where this is going to be aired on. This is going to be Cynthia's storyline this season. Last season, she was trying to be a boss bitch. Checking people and shit. Girl, get the entire fuck out of here. Oh, by the way, I like my little necklace. I made this necklace on the ship. We got like the little nautical stuff like fish, shells, and other cool shit. Awesome. But anywho, so when we get to the scene with Cynthia and Peter talk, he's calling for Cynthia. She just out there sitting, sipping on her wine, talking, looking like, I'm about to fuck this nigga up. He don't even know what's about to even go down. Like, you ain't about to fuck with this niggas up. She got that whole attitude going. So he comes in, tries to give her a kiss. She gives him the swift, back the fuck up. I'm mad at your ass right now. Who the fuck was that on that video? Because she was like, why does this make me look? And he was trying to say like, oh, it wasn't nothing, this, that, and the fourth. And her point was like, look, even let's say for just your sake, because she said I try to defend my husband, all this good shit. Let's just say for the sake of the fact that it wasn't anything. Based off how the internet works, how social media works, and how these other bitches that I'm on this cast with talk, this is gonna embarrass the fuck out of me, bitch. They're gonna sit there and be clowning me. Especially since I acted a fool last year on the damn show and everybody hated me. Now they're gonna be calling me a dumbass because you wanna go out here making me look like a damn fool rubbing on bitches' titties and shit. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. So she gets up, walks out and shit, and that's the scene is over. I'm just like, oh Lord. Well, we know what their whole interest thing is gonna be this whole video. I hope they don't try to stretch this like the whole damn season about her being mad about this video and they separate and they only spend like 3 days out of the week together. We can only take so much. So then we get to Portia and her little tenderoni. What's his name? Duke? I think that's his name. I want to say that was his name. And, you know, he's cute. He's cute, whatever. He's a nice looking young man. She said he's a football player. I forget who she said he plays for, but I'm like, oh, okay, so she got her a nice little football man, a 23-year-old man with money. Okay, who's established in his shit. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. If he gonna be young, at least let him be young and, you know, have some sort of common sense about himself, some sort of level of maturity, you know what I'm saying? So, and she says that, this is kind of funny. She says that one of the things that she likes about him, or the thing that she likes the most about him, was that he wants to get to know her and her personality. But as she's saying that, I don't know if this was shade for the producers, but why is like, oh, he wants to get to know my personality as the camera zooms in on him grabbing her ass, you know, all up on her neck and shit. It seems like all he wants to do is fuck, girl. He's talking about he wants to get to know your personality, but he's sitting here groping on your ass and shit. I mean, I know that they dating and that's what people who date do, but don't be trying to say, oh, he tries to get to know me as he's groping you and filling you up. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, are you sure that's what he's there for? And he's not just there for some ass and camera time? Okay, girl, because you know Portia ain't the sharpest tool in the toolbox, so I'm just, you know, I'm just hoping that she ain't using his little young mind to take over her old senile ass. So anyway, girl, where we at? Oh, Kenya and Cynthia talk about, you know, they ride in the car, riding through, Atlanta, going to Kenya's new house, talking about the whole Peter situation and her new home. And she's like, oh, I found this home that's just right for me, and this, that, and oh shit, battery down. That means I gotta keep this shit short. I found a home that's just right for me, this, that, and the fourth. I'm thinking it's gonna be something, because Kenya's very dramatic and very out there and just flamboyant in the most feminine way that a female can be. And so I'm expecting this house to be, something just off the top and just out there. That wasn't what we got. That was not what we got at all. We get to this house, and I was sitting there looking like Cynthia, like, this looks like the set of Halloween and Friday the 13th. Like, she said, who was the previous owners, Freddy Krueger or Jason? That shit looked, the structure of it, like the architecture of it looked kind of cool. It still looked kind of small, though. But the architecture was a little different, but it was just beat the fuck down, honey. I'm like, what the Okay, she's like, it needs some work. Oh, that's an understatement, bitch. But, and then she got that whole damn hill way, and I'm like, to even get to the house, you gotta run down the hill into the woods and fuck shit up. I'm like, I can't stand homes that you have to go through the fucking highway patrol trail and shit just to get to the motherfucker. And then getting out, you got to go back up. Don't let you be drunk. Your car fly off the damn cliff and shit. But she said she's like 500 feet away from Chateau Sheree. Now, mind you, remember I mentioned Wade that I did a video with about the haunted house. Me, him, and Diggy actually went to Chateau Sheree. When was this? When we went when the blackout event happened back in September, we rode down to Chateau Sheree just to see if the address really existed. And we saw it, and it was still in construction. And I'm thinking they filmed this probably a few months prior to us going down there. So shit changed. What we saw in the episode is the same shit we saw months later. So she's talking shit. You hadn't done much else in the last however many months it's been, bitch. So, and so we get to the back and forth scene between Phaedra, her mom, and Candy and her husband, and they pretty much talking about how their whole relationship goes. Now, I'm not familiar too much with the history of Candy and Phaedra's relationship, but from when I started watching, it seemed like they were cool, and it's almost like Phaedra was going through something, and I think with their dynamic of their relationship, I feel like I've been in this sort of situation before with one of my friends, where I guess I was Candy in the situation, where it's like Phaedra was going through an event in her life, like divorce or, just going through some sort of, turmoil, where she wanted full support from the people that she felt close to. Now, Candy was one of those people. However, Candy was also and she's always been sort of a very neutral, type of person, where she knows a little bit of everybody. She's kind of close to a little bit of everybody. So when two people have issues with each other, she's kind of like not going to go all on one side. She's going to kind of, hear both sides out and try not to be too far one way or the other. However, people who are, the person who's going through something and they expect you to be on their side, if you're playing the neutral role, then they're kind of viewing that like, oh, you're not in my corner like I thought you were, and that can put strain on the relationship, which is what I feel like is what's happening. It's not like Candy is not supportive of Phaedra. I feel like Candy is probably just not supporting Phaedra in the way that Phaedra wants Candy to support her. I feel like, Candy's doing what she feels is right, but it's just not enough in Phaedra's eyes. I think that's where the disconnect between them two is. I think that's where that happens. And Todd was explaining the reason that he doesn't really too much fuck with Phaedra. He feels like he's fake, she's phony, she's this and she's that, is because like a couple years ago when she was pregnant with Mr. President, he was doing a workout DVD with her. I guess she was probably published and to distribute for whatever, and she was paying him, but the final payment that she was supposed to make Todd never got. And because she never ended up releasing that DVD, I guess she put it on the back burner. He was like, shit, I don't really care if you decide to put the DVD out or not. But the fact is I helped you make it, so I deserve to be paid for my services. What you do with the services after I do whatever I do is none of my business. But if I did the work, I need to be paid. So he wanted Candy to, talk to her about that. And I'm just like, I was like, but like Candy said, we're not even talking right now. So if I tried to talk to her about this whole money situation, like I don't see where that's supposed to go. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't see how that's supposed to work either. So we get to the ending scene of this whole shebang, and this whole Cynthia's eyewear party. Whatever. We're just gonna leave that particular part alone. And we're going to get to the good shit. Kenya's throwing shade at Sheree's house all this time. She done called it Chateau, what did she call it? Shinope? Chateau Shinope, Chape, Charade. Saying that she lived in a fucking tent. Like, she was just throwing all this shit this whole time. And then when Sheree finally made it upon the scene, she's like, well, if you have any of you ever built a house? If they haven't built a house, they need to keep on renting. Because Kenya was like, everybody in the neighborhood has been talking about this house. It's an eyesore. It's bringing down the property value of the neighborhood. It's just, getting on everybody's nerves. And she's like, oh, really? Well, if anybody else, if they haven't gone through the process of building a house and they don't know. But my thing is, I've been hearing about this Chateau Charade since 2011? Or something. And Kenya was saying it takes about 6 months to build a house. I'm like, well, it might take like 6 months to build your house, because the house that she was in was kind of small. It was still unique, but still relatively small. And Chateau Charade is a rather large house. But even still, I feel like if you're working consistently on a house, it shouldn't take you 5 years. Maybe 2. Because I think my mother built her house that she's in now, and it took her about maybe a year and a half, 2 years to get that ready and moved in. It's going on 4 to 5 years at this point, bitch. So, sure, they may not know what it's like to build a house, but it doesn't seem like you're doing much about it either way. So, so they was going back and forth about the whole, shading each other about the house, and she's like, she didn't even know you, and everybody's talking like Kenya's always getting into a fight with everybody that she didn't even know, and blah blah blah. And they pretty much end the scene off with them fighting, going back and forth and shit. I'm just like, oh Lord. So this is how we're gonna go through this entire season. Sheree and Kenya are gonna be going at it the whole time, and then there's that whole situation of Cynthia kicking Portia in the uterus or something, kicking her in the stomach with a heel. I'm like, what the fuck? Lord, just bless it. But that was the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 8, Episode 1. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. I'm going to do a separate video talking about my whole vacation. I did take a lot of pictures and a lot of footage of stuff. Well, not a lot of footage, but enough pictures, and we're going to talk about what happened, because it was some interesting shit went down on that boat. But we're going to talk about it in a later video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later on tonight for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Jamar, Washington.